Atheism, the Opium of the Escapist, Part 2, Evolution. A lie told once remains a lie, but a lie told 1,000 times becomes the truth. Joseph Goebbels. Am I saying that evolution is a lie? I will not answer this question at this moment, but I will use renowned scientists and philosophers to do so. This is not your common introduction. I want to lead you right to the point without fillers. Let me begin. The value of life shifts dramatically depending on the individual's point of view. For example, what value will I give to humans if they are a product of time, space, and chance? What value will I give humanity if we are a product of evolutionary processes? If we are a product of millions of years of changes and adaptations, then there is no significant difference between animals and us. Why consider things good or bad when whatever decision we make is just part of this evolutionary chain? How will this evolutionary process produce morals? In this vast, extremely complicated perspective, where do I draw a line or where do I set my standards for meaning and moral values? You see, if we are just a product of the evolutionary trinity, time, space, and chance, then it does not really matter to consider right from wrong, or good from evil, or death from life. Nothing has true value because value does not exist. Why use the word good when I have no absolute standard to define it, unless I want to brainwash my listeners and convert them to this irrational escapist religion? Let us suppose that there was no intelligence behind the universe, no creative mind. In that case, nobody designed my brain for the purpose of thinking. It is merely that when the atoms inside my skull happen, for physical or chemical reasons, to arrange themselves in a certain way, this gives me, as a byproduct, the sensation I call thought. But if so, how can I trust my own thinking to be true? But if I cannot trust my own thinking, of course I cannot trust the argument leading to atheism, and therefore have no reason to be an atheist or anything else. Unless I believe in God, I cannot believe in thought, so I can never use thought to disbelieve in God. This was C.S. Lewis. As you can see, between the Christian faith and atheism, there cannot be a truce or treaty. One cancels the other. I am not going to add to these differences between these two adversary religions. I am going to expose the quotes of many that do show the irrationality of the atheistic doctrine of evolution. John Horgan, a science journalist, wrote in Scientific American in 1991 and said, DNA cannot do its work, including forming more DNA, without the help of proteins. In short, proteins cannot form without DNA, but neither can DNA form without proteins. This is the classic chicken or egg mystery. Dr. T. N. Tamission said, scientists who go about teaching that evolution is a scientific fact are great con men, and the story they tell is the greatest hoax ever. They do not have one iota of fact. Dr. George Wald, professor of biology at Harvard University and Nobel Prize winner in 1967 in medicine, in Scientific American, August 1954, said, When it comes to the origin of life, we have only two possibilities as to how life arose. One is spontaneous generation arising to evolution. The other is supernatural creative act of God. There is no third possibility. Spontaneous generation was scientifically disproved 100 years ago by Louis Pasteur, Spallanzani, Reddy, and others. That leads us scientifically to only one possible conclusion, that life arose as a supernatural creative act of God. I will not accept that philosophically because I do not want to believe in God. Therefore, I choose to believe in that which I know is scientifically impossible, spontaneous generation arising to evolution. Sir Fred Hoyle, 1915 to 2001, English astronomer, professor of astronomy at Cambridge University, said the chance that higher life forms might have emerged in this way is comparable with the chance that a tornado sweeping through a junkyard might assemble a Boeing 747 from the materials therein. He also said, we must now admit to ourselves that the probability of life arising by chance, by evolution, is the same probability of throwing six in dice 5 million consecutive times. Sir Arthur Keith, 1866 to 1955, was a British anatomist and anthropologist and said, evolution is unproved and unprovable. We believe it only because the only alternative is spatial creation, and that is unthinkable. Karl Popper, 1902 to 1994, philosopher of science, said, evolution is not a fact. It doesn't even qualify as a theory or hypothesis. It is a metaphysical research program, and it's not really testable science. Dr. John Sanford, inventor of the gene gun, was a Darwinist and atheist, now believes in creation because of the evidence. The world's most influential philosophical atheist, as well as one of the most renowned atheists of the 20th century, Anthony Flew, announced in 2004 that he accepted the existence of a God. He has concluded that some sort of intelligence or first cause must have created the universe. Even Charles Darwin recognized the obvious. He said, if it could be demonstrated that any complex organism existed which could not possibly have been formed by numerous successive slight modifications, then my theory would absolutely break down. He also said the impossibility of conceiving that this grand and wondrous universe, with our conscious selves, arose through chance seems to me the chief argument for the existence of God. And also said, since innumerable transitional forms must have existed, why do we not find them embedded in countless numbers in the crust of the earth? He also said, why is not every geological formation and every stratum full of such intermediate links? Geology assuredly does not reveal any such finely graduated organic chain. And this perhaps is the most obvious and gravest objection which can be urged against my theory. Someone also said the hemoglobin molecule is made of 574 amino acids in a specific order at the right time. It is like flipping a coin and getting hits 574 times in a row. The statistics is 10 to the 124th power. Yet, a single human body uses not a mere 100 proteins, for the simplest life form, but 100,000. Evolution is not science, but indoctrination. These were only a few quotes from the vast ocean of non believers in the religious blind faith doctrine of evolution. It is up to you to research. Do not be a cynic. Do not fall in the horrible realm of indifference. Do not consider this information a significant fairy tale. The opposite of the religious fanatic is not the fanatical atheist, but the gentle cynic who cares not whether there is a God or not. And that was Eric Hoffer that said that. Fairy story? For an atheist like Stephen Hawkins, religion is a fairy story for those afraid of the dark. But for an Oxford Christian mathematician like Dr. John Lennox, atheism is a fairy story for those afraid of the light. True science is a friend of religion, unless that branch of science becomes religion. There has always been a battle between one faith and the other, but there is one who has solved the enmity between God and believers. Until next time.